so much. Just call me clown face.
Yeah, pretty nice. I think the camera looks okay. We're in it. Andy's in it. Everybody's here.
Yeah.
I might crack the lens off.
No.
I think we'll be just fine.
Just fine.
All right. Well, welcome to episode 17 of Smack Talk with Seth and Mackenzie, powered by
Blue Willow Entertainment.
I haven't thrown to you in a minute, so you had to think there.
I was like, which one?
Blue Willow Entertainment is going to be hosting the upcoming YYC Songwriter Showdown Volume 2. A good portion of that is going to be taking place at Gravity Cafe, the first round, the round of 32. If you check out our socials at Blue Willow Entertainment, you can see all 32 artists who are going to be participating. And you can come down and vote for your favorite songwriter February 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. And then the top four from each day will be moving on to the next round, which we'll talk about more as we get closer to March. But very excited about that.
That's right. And we have a guest with us today.
Before we get to our wonderful guest, who's also involved with the Songwriter
which we'll
Showdown,
talk about today for sure.
Just a shout out to our title sponsor, Happy Ending Divorce and Separation. If you are going through an uncontested or amicable divorce or separation, you can head to www.happyendingdivorceandseparation.com and they can help you with all the paperwork and just streamline the whole process so you don't have to spend a bunch on lawyers. So happyendingdivorceandseparation.com.
Thanks.
Now you can introduce
to our guest, Andy Fennell. We have Andy Fennell here today, who, if you are a musician in Calgary, and I would say probably anytime in the last 10, 15 years, you probably know Andy. Mm. He is our owner, founder of Gravity Cafe.
Yeah.
And
something like that.
What do you, it used to be called Gravity Cafe. Now you just say Gravity, I think, right?
Yeah. We've gone through a few iterations. Gravity Espresso and Wine Bar, Cafe Gravity, Gravity Coffee Roasters. All depends on the day.
But if you say Gravity, most people know what we're talking about.
I think so.
I usually preface or follow introducing Andy with absolute beauty. So I think
yes, we've talked about Andy on this podcast, actually, and I think that's come up a few times. How much of an absolute beauty he is.
I'm still fixated on the sponsor of the show, but I'm not going there, just in case you don't edit.
No, I mean, if you want to go there, you can go there.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. No, I should keep my thoughts inside, I think, especially when somebody's sponsoring you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see if it comes out later.
Yeah.
So, Andy, thanks for coming.
No, you're welcome.
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
No.
Oh, that's fun.
Lots of interviews, but back in the day when I was relevant.
Come on.
No podcasts, no.
How could you not be relevant? You're the most relevant guy in town.
No. I mean, if you dumb it down to the business that you're in, everybody's got relevance in the early days, but the older you get, unless you reimagine yourself and you make massive change, then you sort of lose a bit of relevance. So, yeah, I'm happy to be alive.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
A lot of people may not know this, especially the more casual music goer maybe in the city. But you've put on over 3,000 shows, or were we
Yeah. I mean, it builds every week. I mean, we're up to 6 shows a week. It settles down a little bit over Christmas, so we've been a little bit slower, but we're at about 3,500 now. And I mean, if we book every show every week, every year, then you can add 300 on. So we've been doing it for nearly 14 years in March.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of shows in there. Yeah.
And what was the initial inspiration to even get into music?
Well, some people are meant to listen to music. I'm one of them. I always wanted a little place where you could build community, and music was going to be part of that. And that was the inspiration behind Gravity. There's factors as to why Gravity opened beyond music and coffee and community. But that was the idea, bring a bit of Europe to Calgary back in the 2012 is when we opened. So culturally, we weren't. I didn't think Calgary was there with that type of venue back then. So the idea of having a coffee shop that built community and brought music together was fairly fresh in Calgary, I would say, back then. So the inspiration was always to look at local artists and have people playing casual music in a casual environment. And it just grew and grew from there. And we've gone through lots of different iterations of music and how it works. And can't imagine it without it, truth be told.
So obviously when you started, when you were thinking, I guess, about starting up something, what was the inspiration for the whole, because you were working in a corporate job prior to this.
Yeah.
So what was the whole inspiration to say, okay, I'm done with that. I want to transition to this, and it's going to be coffee.
Right.
And it's going to be music, and it's going to be community.
Right. Well, okay. So not to depress you, but the first part of that was my father. So in 2006, we knew he had cancer, but he'd been given 6 months to a year to live. And he called me, let's say on a Thursday, and I thought, Friday I'll go home, back to England. So I did, and I got there. I wanted to see him while he was lucid, just in case. I didn't want to have any regrets. I went back on the Saturday, got there, flew on Friday, got there Saturday, and chatted with him on Saturday night. And lo and behold, the next day I went into a coma and never woke up. But part of that conversation was about him feeling that he'd never took any risks in life. He'd never accomplished anything in life, which to me was nonsensical. When he died, he'd been married 50 years, short 3 months, brought up 3 kids, was born pre-war in that very conservative setup of life of, look after family and earn what you can and just be a good father. So for me, that was success. But I got what he was saying. He'd sat behind a desk. He'd never really took any of the risks. He'd got the opportunity to start a mobile phone company years ago, them big bricks that they had that you see in old movies. And he turned it down, and these were his regrets. And I get it, but I never wanted to feel like that. And that's part of my drive now is I don't want to end up feeling that way when later in life that I haven't achieved anything. So that sort of set me on the path for it. And I had a good job, totally unfulfilled in what I was doing. But that was the driving force. And it took me a while to get there. I ended up going to India as well to work. And it's easy to see a different side of life in India. People obviously have a lot less for the most part. But from their perspective, they seemed to me, and only my opinion, they seemed a lot happier than I were in their vocation. So that was sort of the tipping point then. And thankfully, I pissed a few people off at the place I worked, and they gave me a package. I came home and I was like, what am I going to do? And I had a bruised ego for a day. But I was really happy to be out of that environment. But everything pointed back to doing the same thing, and it just, I couldn't understand it. So, honestly, I'd never had a cup of coffee in my life at that stage. I was 40. How old was I? That was 2010. So 42, I'd never even tasted coffee in my life. And I'm sitting in a Starbucks drinking hot chocolate thinking, what are these people doing here? What shall I do with my life? And writing pieces of paper and throwing them down and thinking, I'm going to end up behind a desk again. And then I thought, I've got a bright idea. I'll start a coffee shop. So never drank coffee. But then I started thinking about it and think, well, that the culture in Calgary back then isn't the way that it is now. There's a lot of wonderful places and people who brought a lot of culture to the restaurant and cafe scene here and music scene. So I wrote this business plan that was centered around a European-style cafe. So it had good coffee. It had more than your regular amount of food. And had arts and entertainment. It was built around community. And that's what I wanted. So that was the driving force to do it. And the music had to be an integral part of that. And we put it in day one. I hired 2 baristas who were musicians. And they charted the course at the very beginning to get musicians in. It sort of expanded from there. I mean, there's tons more I could tell you about it, and you can ask me questions relating to it, but yeah, that was the emphasis. So I was told it would never work. And even the CEO of the company that I work for said, Andy, it's a impulse buy coffee. This will never work. And then years later, I saw him and he's like, whoa, can't believe what you've built.
So is this your 20th year?
No.
14, right?
14.
14.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess a two-part question. What's been the most fulfilling part of this journey, if you were to just like surmise it? And then with the benefit of hindsight, what is the biggest thing you underestimated about this journey?
The most fulfilling part is the community drive that it brought, especially, and this will lead into the second part, is when it was a solo location, just one location that I worked in day and night to build and have music in. So the community aspect of that, then the music nights that we've had that stick in my mind. There are certain nights that even now when we have a music night, and it's especially in the fall and the winter and the spring when we get dark evenings, you lower those lights, you've got a listening room and the right people on stage, and it just warms my heart just to see what's been built from that. So the community and the music, that's the first part. The biggest, underestimating, there's been a lot of factors. I mean, we are purely owned by a family. It's me, my wife, no investors, no partners, expanding to 3 locations, and also then starting a coffee roasting business. And at the same time, doing some of that pre, post, and during COVID, where in my mind, habits have changed for a generation now. I don't think the same habits that we had pre-COVID typically for everybody are the same about going out and doing things. So, but to sum that up, to try and take a family business and open 4 business units and be successful at it, I think I underestimated the work that would take. So I don't know. I was thinking about this on the drive here. All my competitors are multi-location coffee shops, roasters. They all have investors, partners. There's multiple people running a company. They have a big staff. And they're probably I know they're more successful than I am, but I love what I've got. But that's the biggest underestimation is knowing when to stop. Right. So we're in a bit of a reckoning. I mean, like, I love gravity. I love everything about it. I don't think I could see myself growing any more than we've got now. Not without a different change of structure. And I don't know at my time of life whether I want that or not, you know?
Yeah.
I was going to say, why?
Yeah.
You've got something great going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really interesting when you said you'd never had coffee in your life, and then you thought, well, I'm going to open a coffee shop, and you thought coffee instead of like restaurant bar, because I mean, I guess that might have been more of a suited way to go for you, but coffee it was. So is that just something that you sort of grew up with, is the coffee shop vibe with the music and the feel, or is it just a vision that came to you while you were sitting there?
Not at all. I mean, I spent most of my young adult years in the Caribbean, so being in Europe was a teenage thing for me. So coffee shops weren't part of my culture at all, but the love of music and the love of community was, how do you pull those together? I'm not a chef. I don't have any experience in food, so to speak. So the idea of coffee was a lot more compelling to me. And I mean, what I do is coffee. Why I do it is for the love of music and community, and for good coffee. But why I do it is equally, if not more important than what I do. So the ability to put some food on a table in front of somebody in a coffee shop is easier in my mind than in a restaurant, where you've got to have a lot more skill. That was the emphasis behind it, and it was a vision. I mean, how do I take my love of music and being around people and putting it into a space where people will meet, and coffee seemed to be the natural choice.
And with Gravity, it was always important to you to give back to community and artists that play there and artists in Calgary. So why don't you tell people that don't know a little bit about Gravity's model about giving back and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to come across as a saint because I'm not. I mean, this has been years in the working. Like, we've always tried to support artists, but being a small venue specifically designed for local artists and emerging artists, it's difficult to find a way to pay and compensate people for doing that. So over the years, we've had these different iterations. So at the beginning, people come in by donation. 50% of the money would go to the artist, 50% of the money would go to a local charity. So that was the first look at it. It was wildly successful. Gravity was new, it was fresh, it was vibrant. Everybody who came in was really good looking. And, now I don't know where they've all gone now. Anyway, so that was the first iteration. And then to get serious artists in, we were like, well, they wouldn't play because they didn't want to come on the premise that they may earn something. So we said, okay, well, what about if you charge a cover charge, you get 100% of the cover. So that's been another iteration. Like Fridays and Saturdays, you charge a cover. And then in the week, it's more for those folks that want to try their hand at music and don't have a place to play in public, and they get donations. And then obviously the pandemic came, blew all that up, whatever. And then we started again after the pandemic. Then we bought a roasting company, sort of distressed assets of a company. And then it sort of came to like, well, hold on, I've got this commodity now that can cyclically, is that right word? Help with the business model of artists, music and coffee. So every bag of beans now that's sold, 5% of that that sale goes towards paying musicians to play. So it's not across, because we're relatively small and our sales, I mean, they're growing, but they're not where they need to be. It's selective. So we pick people to pay. We throw them $200 or $300. We pay some jazz musicians every week to come in on a Sunday afternoon to play. And then we look at different avenues at how we can put money in people's pockets, like the artist of the month. So 2 or 3 ways, really. Buy beans, some of that money goes to paying people. Get an artist of the month in, they get their own coffee brand. They get $10 from every bag goes towards paying them. They get to do a show, they get paid for that show. And then in return, they do some social media to try and pump up Gravity as a music venue. So, like I said, we're not saints. We still have people that come in, pay for covers. We still have people that come in and pay for tips. The nature of a small venue is that, but the bigger we grow the coffee brand and the roasting brand, then the more we can dish out to people. So I think last count, since we took over the roastery, and this probably been in a little over a year now, we're moving in on 15 grand of paying people out. So not a ton of money, but
excellent.
I'm proud of it for sure.
You should be.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Congrats. And thank you for supporting the local art scene. We appreciate it. What have you noticed, I guess, maybe in the evolution of artists over the last 14 years? Like, do you notice much of a difference in the artists coming up now to back then in terms of whether it's talent or just how they approach the world? Like, do you see much of a difference?
Yeah, I do. But I think years ago, because of the lack of places to play, if that's right, if I'm right in my assumption, like years ago, it was the Ironwood, it was Blues Can, a couple of other venues, and then us. And now there are more, I wouldn't say serious, but there's a lot more venues where artists can go and play. And I think there's a lot more help as well. Different clubs and people like yourselves are supporting artists, and the folk club are very involved in supporting musicians. That years ago, I used to see the who's who of everybody that was coming up. People like Benjamin Longman, like I Am the Mountain, that type of genre of music. And now I see a lot more solo artists. I don't see as many bands, and I don't know whether they exist as much as they used to. I don't know whether that's a sign of post-COVID where everybody's on their own and doing their own thing. That's just a summarization, but there's a wealth of talent. I think there's probably way more talent now than there was 10, 14 years ago, but back then there was a select few groups that I think were trailblazers in Calgary for the local scene that I was privileged to have play at Gravity and really made me feel like I was on the cusp of seeing one of these guys blow up and be a big artist, which is the goal. I'd love to see that for somebody local. But yeah, I think there's definitely a broader array of talent right now than there was years ago. More collective.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't really in the music scene back then, but I do think your comment on there not being as many bands feels true to me. I mean, there's a lot of solo artists. They all tend to share band members, it seems like.
Yeah.
But like that tight-knit band, there's not as many especially on the emerging scene.
No, and I wonder, I mean, we talk a lot about venues. And a venue, like I always say, I'm just brick and mortar. I've got a place for people to come and play. I've no talent. I've just got a place for them to come. But if it's hard for venues, the people have got harder, the artists, right? And then when you get a collective group of people together that are serious about music, it's even harder. Like, how do they make a living? How do they pay their bills? How do they even scratch the surface when you're playing as a band? And, in small venues in Calgary. So I don't know whether that rings true as to why there's less bands or because of the age of digital and everything now, people can be solo artists and then pull in people and create albums and do things virtually and that type of thing. I don't know. Smarter people than me will figure that out.
I do think that does make sense for sure about the nature of the ecosystem and what people are getting paid to play, right? You have a 4-piece band and you're splitting $400 for 2 sets, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't really pay the bills. So that maybe does make more sense to me as well. But there are bands out there.
There are. Yeah.
We have a few in our circle that we've worked with that are doing great things too. So
I mean, if you can pull together a band, I especially think at that emerging stage, it can be a bit of a differentiator to everything else that's going on.
Yeah. And when you play as a band, I think, I mean, maybe this is an overgeneralization too, but most young emerging artists can't control a stage on their own, right? That's part of the learning curve of getting on a stage and cutting your teeth. A band is more, I wouldn't say, maybe more forgiving because you've got more personalities up there. You've got people who are showing a range of emotion through a band rather than just one person trying to do it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the other end of the spectrum where somebody's cut their teeth for so many years that they can play Coldplay, can play a stadium. And let's be honest, there's one guy that commands all those people in that stadium, and that's the lead singer of Coldplay.
Yeah.
Even though they're a band, everybody's there to listen, to see this guy pull 60, 70,000 people together and does such an amazing job doing it. So, yeah, I don't know whether that answers any of the things we're really talking about, but yeah, the band, the idea of seeing a band play on a stage to me is far more appealing than seeing a solo act as a paying consumer of music, right?
Right.
Well, and from experience, I'll say I have seen solo artists that I know play solo that also have bands, right? And then you see them in their band and you're like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that in your band. Because I think also the band plays off each other, right? They feed off each other.
Yeah.
The energy is higher.
Different dynamics.
Yeah. So like a lot of people, like there are singer-songwriters. One that comes to mind, which we can talk about in a bit because it applies to some things here, is Jenny Harlock.
Right.
I've seen her in all iterations of it, and she is one of those solo artists that can really handle the stage.
Sure.
But then she's in her band, and it's the same. Like, not everyone can do that, like what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's cool. So that brings me to, I want to talk about last showdown we did. So last year we held our first YYC Songwriter Showdown. at all at Gravity last year, all 12 weeks.
Yep.
So thank you, first of all, for letting us.
Didn't do anything.
Well, you gave us the space and you fed us. So that was
it
nice.
never would have happened without you. So
it was great. Yeah. And you let us put a stage in there, which was really cool. So we did that last year. And I guess what are your thoughts about sort of how that, like, was that sort of just like what you expected to happen when we said, hey, let's do this? Or what do you think was different or unexpected about that whole event that we held there?
Well, first of all, I mean, for anybody who does watch this, they need to know that it is just a space of 4 walls. And when I first mentioned it to you guys about having that bit of funding for it, I didn't imagine what you guys were going to build it into. So for me, the easy choice was like, let's find some artists and pay them, right? The creativity was not there on my behalf. It was all you guys. So that's what built it into what it was. The surprising thing that came out of it for me was the gratitude that people have for Gravity and the amount of stories that came out of it about this is where I first played. And it's not something that I've ever took for granted. It's just not something I've ever thought about, because I do feel that all I have is 4 walls and a commitment to continue to book music. So it doesn't take a genius to do that. And you can argue that or point all you like. It takes a commitment and some hustle to keep it going, because a lot of people will talk about it but not do it. Or they'll talk about it, they'll do it, and then they'll get out. It happens. I've seen it so many times after the last 14 years. So all I have is 4 walls and the guile and the drive to keep supporting live music and giving people a place to play. So that's, you'll never budge me off that. There's nothing more than I can offer apart from that. But the gratitude that came from people, musicians and people that you brought in as judges, to say thank you for what you're doing was amazing to me, and it took me aback every time. So just to know that I'm part of that little emerging ecosystem of giving people a place to play, that was very proud. I felt very proud to feel that way, but also surprised at the same time.
I did hear many of the artists say that. I had my first show here 10 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever it was. So I think that was really cool for me to experience that through them, like having it all come full circle, I guess, for a lot of them. Like Jenny, who won, she was one of the first ones that said that, and that's really cool, I thought. And also, I think I looked at your LinkedIn, and the first line on there, it says, Gravity, the force that pulls coffee, music, and community together. So I guess that's your vision, and sounds like you accomplished it that 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was such a cool event that you guys put on. And it highlighted another level of talent that I don't think people knew existed. Like the general people who don't go out and watch live music. I mean, you guys got on the radio, you talked about it, people turned up. There was musicians in there, but I'd never heard of Jenny before. I'd obviously booked her, but I'd obviously not been at the show. And then there were other musicians I'd never heard of before. And it was amazing to see the level of talent. So, yeah, I mean, the whole 12 weeks was fantastic. And I remember saying to Seth after, because he said, let's do another one. I was like, sure, we should, but you're going to outgrow this place. and that's what I want, because, it's the natural ecosystem of how things should work. And as you build something that supports artists the way you're doing with those types of shows, it deserves to grow, and it deserves to end up in a full music environment, like a theatre, or I don't know, where you're doing the final this year again?
Festival Hall.
Festival Hall. So Festival Hall this year. Where next year? What's bigger than Festival Hall, and then what's bigger than after that? Saddle Dome's coming up in a year and a half.
Then the new one, the new stadium.
Place.
Yeah.
So, you know, you guys should be proud of what you put on. I'm proud of the fact that you did it there, but I want to see it grow now beyond. I mean, the fact that you're doing the first 4 rounds at Gravity is wonderful, and then to share it and move it onto bigger venues, I want to see it grow and grow and grow, because there's a real opportunity to showcase some of the real talent that's in this city, and hopefully they get the exposure, and you get the exposure for doing it.
Well, Gravity and you, Andy, have a special place in our heart. So we're very thankful that we're able to bring it back, like you said, for the next round for the first 4 weeks. So thank you for, again,
Of course,
letting us do that.
Did you have a chance to have a look at any of the artists that are in there this time?
I had a little skip through the other day on Instagram. If I was to, my memory's bloody awful, so I can't even remember who's in there, to be honest with you. But I'm going to show up every week, assuming that my kids don't have any tournaments, and pay attention, because it was really cool last year.
We have some few returning from last year. You might have noticed, which is really cool. I think that they obviously had a great experience, so they want to come back. So thank you for them. But yeah, we had somewhere around 60 applicants for 32 positions, which is huge.
Nice. Yeah.
And it really does show the amount of talent in this city.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
In and around the city.
Yeah, there was a few outside the city as well. Yeah. Primarily Calgary, but very difficult decision this year.
Yeah. It's tough.
But
you got
some
Lewis
amazing
Cardinal
talent
in there, right?
We what?
Lewis Cardinal.
Lewis is in there.
Yeah.
Welshman living in BC.
Well, he's moving in Calgary.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, he's playing a banquet tonight.
He's here right now, actually. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Lewis is a busy guy, and he's going to be busy as he comes here as well. So we're looking forward to having him.
Good.
Yeah. Good stuff. What do you see, I guess, on the horizon for Gravity, over the next 5 years or so?
That's a good question. I see growth, hopefully, in the roasting side, that then allows me to use that as part of my mission for music. So the more I can grow the roastery, the more money I can put towards music and find more defined programs. That's the number one goal. Being family owned, the growth is slow. Last year, I think we did 20% growth. This year, the first 4 months, we've done 50 over last year. So, and I haven't really scratched the surface of trying to get Gravity out there from on the sales side of things. So that's the biggest part of my mission now, is to do that. 2 things, going back to my father. So I'm 57 now. 5 years from now, I'd like to think that, I feel like I've accomplished something, but I don't feel it's unfinished business. And unfinished business in the restaurant, cafe, that type of business is ongoing, right? Music, I think if I keep my mission and vision for music at the center of that, then that helps me be more successful. So that would be the first part. The second part is I've sort of flipped everything on the head recently, and I'm trying to get out there, like on the lower level, to try and get Gravity involved in music. And we had we got involved in Folk Fest last year, and they're involving us this year in Block Eater. That's what it's called, right? So we're doing some work with them there. But I feel like I've got to start higher and come lower and try and find a way to support musicians by getting Gravity known as the coffee for musicians. So rather than looking at building up, I've got to find a way to get maybe known for being the roaster that helps musicians, and then finding a way to sell it that way. That's the first part. The second part is purely selfish, because apart from wanting to not die, thinking I've not succeeded, I want an A-list artist to have their name on the coffee bag. Not for the financial side of it, but to be recognized that you've supported musicians, and you find an A-list artist that is willing to support that mission. So I don't think that happens overnight. If you gave me choice of who it was, there'd be two people that come to mind. One would be Ray LaMontagne, reclusive folk singer who lives in the northeast of the States, fantastic singer-songwriter. And the other one would be equally as intelligent, David Gray. Love to have their names on my bag of coffee, but maybe it'd be somebody else 5 years from now.
Maybe Pete McRae, a good local one.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah. I mean, there's, I don't know, waffle a bit, but yeah, I got to find the time to plan it all out, look for the right people. And you probably start local more than you do international, right? But that would be the dream,
Yeah.
Dying fulfilled, morbid, but having a A-list artist who's had the name on your bag.
All right.
I don't need a lot
We'll
else.
put that out in the universe.
Yeah, David Gray.
Yeah.
Ray or Dave.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Both great artists, by the way.
Yeah.
You've seen them both in concert.
I do, yeah. We don't get away a lot. We don't get to concerts a ton. But with my wife working at WestJet, when there is a chance to go and see them, then we try and make a 2-day trip to go. And I've seen them multiple, probably far too many times to be honest with you. But
both of them, right?
Yeah. The venues they play are cool too,
Yeah.
because they typically play old theatres and stuff at churches and stuff like that. So they're really cool to watch.
Can you think of any concert or show or venue you've been to that was just like blew your socks off? It doesn't have to be for those two, but
right.
For any concert you've seen or show.
Well, I'll give you 2 examples. So that we talked earlier about Chris Martin and Coldplay. We saw him in Las Vegas last year, and we took my son. It was his first ever concert. I think I've probably spoilt it for him now, because I don't think you can see a concert better than that. The production, the intimacy that he put into a crowd of, 70, 80,000 people. Just the way the show is set up and designed and run, and just phenomenal. So that would be one.
That's at the Sphere, right? That was at the Sphere.
No, it was at the football stadium.
Oh, it wasn't at the Sphere.
Yeah, so it was. But yeah, it was packed.
Amazing,
really good. And then the other one would be a Ray concert in San Diego. We saw, and I'd have to think. I think it was just as we were coming out of the first restrictions of the pandemic, and it was a little venue in a town about an hour from the center of San Diego. I can't for the life of me remember the name of the venue, but it's a very historic music place. And we sat second row and watched him, and everybody listened, and it was a theatre. There was several thousand people in there. You could hear a pin drop, and it was just beautiful knowing that everybody was there to listen. Now, conversely, a few months later, convinced a friend to let's go and watch the same show in Detroit. And I think we went to the Fillmore in Detroit and watched it. It was garbage because everybody was talking or on their phones. And obviously it's not the artist's fault, but you couldn't hear a bloody thing. And during the San Diego show, I swear that the show was probably 2.5 hours long. The one at the Fillmore was probably an hour and a half, because there was no engagement. People weren't listening. It was like, I'll get the songs done, I'll get off. And as an artist, you've got to love the first one, surely. Everybody listening, even at Gravity now, there's people talking while there's people playing. It really pisses me. I just, these people deserve to listen to, right? You spend all that time plying your trade and get on stage, and you just got people talking.
Yeah. Well, to your point, the intimacy, like I've been to all different venues and concerts as well, different sizes. And I always say to artists, like, all it takes is that one fan, right? Like, if you can have that moment. For Ray, obviously, it was a lot more than one at that show. But yeah, like I've been to shows at Gravity even where there's 6 people there because, whatever, it just wasn't a busy night for that artist. But all 6 are in it, you know, and they're there for that artist, and you just gained 6 fans. So that's like so cool.
Yeah.
I think any size of crowd, way better than, like you said, people talking or being rowdy or whatever, whatever it may be.
I can't imagine being anybody getting into music, hoping to get on stage so that I can sing to a group of people that are just talking over them.
Well, there are bands though, right? Like if you think about the bands, like I don't know, I'm sure there's all over now as well, but like I would think like someone like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
likes the rowdy crowd, probably, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Or like Kiss, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, that's an experience, right?
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just, it just seems to me, and I say this because you love the people that come through, but and come through and watch music at your venue. And maybe I overthink it, but as a young musician, as a solo artist on a stage, the greatest thing is somebody looking at you and listening to what you're singing. And you've got to command it, and you've got to be a good musician, and you've got to have the lyrics that will work and the sound. And I'll give you an example. Benjamin Longman has been a musician in Calgary. He's English. He's been here for a couple of decades, I think. Maybe I've known him for over 10 years. And he doesn't do a lot of music now, but man, can that guy command a stage when he plays. Like, just him and his guitar playing is unreal. He's like, I called him the Mark Knopfler of Calgary because his guitar playing is just phenomenal. And then you put him on a stage and his voice and his lyrics, and you can't help but watch. And there is somebody, though, that's put so much time and effort into their work, but he commands it. I just wish he'd play more. I don't think he plays a lot anymore, to be honest.
You should give him a call.
Yeah.
Come on, Benjamin.
Let's get him back. Let's get him back.
Phenomenal talent. Absolutely fun. I played at Gravity lots, and that same thing, lights down low, winter evening, him up there, just warms the cockles of my heart to know that was shows like that are the ones that made me realise that this is what makes it all worthwhile. You know?
Said like a true Englishman. Warms the cockles of his heart.
Yeah.
That's a word we haven't had on this podcast.
That is. So for anyone that's interested in supporting the mission, buying some, artist coffee online, things of that nature, where can they head to?
GravityCalgary.com for now. New website coming. But that would be the place to buy it online. You can get it in the stores too, Co-op, Safeways, that type of thing. So, but more than anything, I'd love people to come and watch some of the musicians play. Coffee ain't cheap these days. Cost of living's tough for people, but if you can come and throw $5 in a bucket or scan a QR code or pay a cover to watch an emerging artist, that's what would make me happy. Like, come and sit, even if you just have a cup of tea, glass of water, don't care. But come and support a local musician and make their day so that when they wake up the next day, they're like, I had 30. We don't need a ton of people in Gravity. Like, it's hard sometimes to draw a crowd. They're like, if you don't know who the artist is, it's hard to draw. And we've got a lot of very emerging artists playing there. But imagine making their day by coming and just listening to them, have a cup of tea. I can't afford a cup of tea. I'll buy you a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, come and watch them. That's what brings the pure value to me and the love of continuing live music.
Love that.
Great. Well, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
4 times in February.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every Saturday.
I mean,
fun.
Probably like 20. Well, I probably go there like 50 times a year at least, but sometimes not for music.
Sometimes we're just there having a meeting or whatever, chilling.
Yeah.
Them have all gone now as well. Meetings, everybody does them virtually, don't they?
I don't like that.
No.
I'd way rather be in person always.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Especially like you live in the same city.
Yeah.
Like, just drive 10 minutes.
It's just the nature of where we've gone.
I
In
guess.
the last few years, hasn't it? And the convenience.
And everyone wants to save time, right? And driving 10 minutes there and 10 minutes back. Well, you just lost 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Shall we?
Sure.
Songs of the week brought to you by Shop Value YYC.
Yeah. Turning recycled chopsticks into furniture and decor, and stylish and sustainable furniture and decor, I might add.
Hell yeah.
Thanks to ChatGPT for coming up with that one.
Shout out Joanne and the team.
So there's no happy ending on this segment?
No, that was just the beginning.
That's the beginning. Yeah. I mean, that would make sense at the end.
We're having our kickoff to the second edition of the YYC Songwriter Showdown at Joanne's place at Shop Value YYC.
Nice.
Have you been in there yet?
Up until the other day when I drove past it, because it is a block away from the roastery.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I never realized where it was.
Because it's sort of in that industrial area there off in McLeod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she takes the warehouse, all the equipment out of it, like she hides it and covers it up and moves it to the side and then opens it up and we do parties there.
Nice.
It's pretty fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should come.
When is it?
It's next Saturday.
Yep.
January 24th.
January 24th between 3 and 6.
I'll send you a note.
Okay. Done.
Anyway, yeah, check her out. Buy some furniture and decor. Songs of the week. So I need to delve into some songs because I'm running out and I don't know why. I'm not running out. I just want to give everyone equal chance. And I could go back to artists, but you want to get, there's so many artists. I want to give everyone equal chance. So this one it's kind of new to my listening ear, but I know the person behind it. So the band is called Kid Cali, but the person that is part of Kid Cali, who I know, is Tori Rosso. Cool dude who has been playing gigs for us for about a year and a half now. He steps in when we need him. He does all kinds of genres, and he's a part of all kinds of bands. He plays in Jaden Riley's band. He plays with the Ashley 100. He plays with St. Arnaud.
I see him pop up all the time. I'm like, oh, he's
just
Tori.
like, oh, here, I'm playing with these guys this week.
Yeah.
But then this is his solo. Well, it's not his. It's him and another gentleman, and their name is Kid Cali. So check him out. The song's called Third Eye.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
That must have been hanging around in Peru or something with that name.
I don't know. Maybe.
Taking some hallucinogenics.
It would not surprise me.
When I saw I could see your paper and I was like, are you talking about Third Eye Blind and Kid Cudi?
Well, hey, maybe.
That's what it looked like. Anyway. Okay. I am going to go with a 2-time participant in the YYC Songwriter Showdown. He was in the first one, and he will be in the next one. And I remember the first time he played this song at the showdown, and I was like, oh, shit, that's cool. So I'm going to give a shout out to Devin Foster.
Oh, I was wondering who you're going with there.
And the song Insomnia. Which,
that came out recently, didn't it?
Yeah, that's still
came out during the showdown.
I think so. It's still like wormholes in my brain. I like that tune. He played it at Found Sounds when we did that with Eric. And he's been hosting an open mic for us. So big shout out. And I recently got a video. So Mia's been working on a Blue Willow video for us and interviewed a few artists. And Devin mentioned that he hasn't been a guest on Smack Talk yet. So we'll have to.
Well, if you have him on, I got a coffee called Insomnia.
What?
So we should get, it's named after Maxi Jazz and from, what was the name of that group now back in the 90s? It's an electronic song called Insomnia. I Can't Get No Sleep.
Yeah.
So we should get him a bag with Insomnia on before he comes.
Okay.
Perfect.
He did talk to me about that a while ago, but he sort of fell off the...
Yeah, if we get it to us and then when he comes, we'll give it to him.
He's a marketing guy, so I mean...
He's a cool dude,
yeah. Shout out Devin.
And also Tori's in this showdown. So
Tori is
a couple of the new...
Yeah.
Well, he's new this year, but should be good.
Well, if you want a song, I already talked about Benjamin Longman earlier. He's got an album from a few years ago, and one of the songs on there is called Letters, which I really liked. Shows a lot of range, musical talent in there. But I'm going to, this isn't local, because I wasn't expecting this, but I was at Folk Fest last year, and there was a duo, or maybe a group called O.C. Elliott. From Vancouver Island. And they've got a song called Feeling Fine that I really like. I got to be careful here because I always talk about intelligence when it comes to Ray LaMontagne and David Gray with the lyrics that are right. But I love O.C. Elliott's work because of the simplicity of it. And I'm not saying it's not intelligent, but it's really simple. It's really nice to listen to and relaxing. So I can put their album on.
I really like O.C. Elliott.
And just play it over and over and over again and not feel like I'm really listening to music. You just get lost in the beautiful sound that they make.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. Great duo, great harmonizing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming, Andy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
We ran into you. Where was that? At Winners right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was in Co-op the other day and we walked down the coffee aisle and saw Gravity. I'm was with Jovi. I'm like, oh, look, there's Uncle Andy's coffee.
Yeah.
Uncle Andy.
Her favorite thing is coming to Gravity because she knows Andy's going to
Andy
give her
always
some.
gives her hot chocolates
Well,
and
we'll treat her in
cookies.
February.
So that's nice.
But, yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate it. And, you know, you guys give me a bit of impetus last year when you put that show on. I mean, you put a stage in there, which we've expanded. You gave me a bit of a kick, and I appreciate it because sometimes, you know, in the day-to-day grind of running business, you forget about some of the things that you need to do to improve. And I put that down to you guys because the music program needed to improve. I don't want to just provide a place for people to come and play and then say, there you go, set up, off you go. We want to provide an environment that's nice too. And I needed a bit of a kick, and you guys provided it. So thanks for that.
Oh,
You're most welcome.
thank you.
I mean, you offered us the space that, you know, probably did one of the most transformational things we've done in this whole venture. So reciprocated.
Of course, yeah. And, you know, anybody who listens to this, we're there for anybody. You know, we very rarely turn people away. If you need a place, we do it for the love of it, not for the money. So if you need a place to play, or you need a place to put a band in, or you want to try something out a little different, we're the place.
Amazing.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Right.
Well, thanks, Andy.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's the end of our show.
There it goes.